I liked Buffalo Bills and free agency because out of the blue, it seemed to me, they re-signed Jordan Poyer.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most interesting. I didn't see that coming at all. Like, I thought if anyone was coming back, it was Edmunds. Poyer was gone forever. Here comes Poyer. It sounds like the market for him wasn't there, and it's something he realized after a couple of days. I mean, if you're going to play for less than you wanted to, why not come home and do it with guys you love to play with?
I just thought, because it was like he seemed to be the lost cause. And when he re-signed with Buffalo, I thought, well, we don't like losing Edmunds, but getting Poyer back is a nice consolation.
Well, what's interesting? This offseason, I don't know about you, Duffy, I kind of will reserve judgment for the Bills from now on because does anybody really know what's going on with free agency or trades or anything? Last week, you went on a rant about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets, which would be interesting for the Bills because they'd face him twice a year. But then again, he, as of this recording, hasn't signed yet.
Still not
Then
done.
there's this Lamar Jackson thing to the Patriots. And kind of weird. He hasn't signed yet as we're recording this. So there's almost as if I got to take a step back from the offseason because, I know you made some transactions for the Bills, but there's no way to know if this is the right move or not.
Look, the Bills are doing exactly what they have to do. I said at the end of last season, you guys laughed in my face, that I would be fine if the Bills ran back the roster they had from last season, that everything at the end of the year was so traumatic and crazy and there were so many things that factors in. They're tightening up the edges, right? They're replacing the receivers with a little bit better talent. They're bringing in Damian Harris to run the ball short yardage to save Josh Allen's body. If he gets 7 carries a game, that's a massive success for the Buffalo Bills, right? Like, you know what you're doing. You know the talent you have on this roster. Invest offensively in the draft and run it back again and see what happens.
And the thing about that, we talked about that with Poyer. Did they overestimate the market? Because there's a lot of players out there. Odell Beckham Jr., all these other different players are kind of like, this is what I want. I'm not going to settle for anything less. When I'm like, well, you may not get what you want. And so that resets the market. Isaiah McKenzie, same sort of thing. Maybe, thinking about it now, you're kind of like, oh, what were they offering me? That might be a better deal.
I don't mind starting with the 2 best safeties in the NFL either. That's a nice place to start from.
Well, you bring up Edmunds. Bringing back Poyer after Edmunds is gone is much better than a nice consolation prize because you're going to have a lot of young guys on that defense. And Matt Milano knows what he's doing, but I don't think he's ever made the calls before. The fact that you're going to have someone in that position that Edmunds was in that doesn't have his experience, both of those safeties, knowing that defense inside and out, backwards and forwards, is a huge difference compared to what it could have been.
And on the offensive, you're taking 2 players from division rivals, which doesn't hurt.
But there's still some scatteredness going on with exactly what's going on in the league. Listen, you don't worry about what the Jets or the Patriots or anybody else are doing. You worry about what the Bills have available and that money available to get these players and sign them. I'm not quite sure. I think the best way to evaluate the Bills offseason is right around the draft, where you maybe make some trades, move up, get some players, and then you'll know.
Well, but even, with being the general manager, what he's done, the little moves that he's made is once again put the Bills in a position to take the best player available, which he has consistently been able to do for the last 4 years. Depending on the position that he drafts, he does really well. If we're talking D lineman and offensive lineman, it's a disaster. Everything else has been hits.
Harris, the best move so far this offseason.
Yeah, and he had limited space to move in, and I think given that and the things that have been done, I think it's been a pretty good offseason so far.
It doesn't hurt also that, you have a reputation as a team that not only loves each other very much, with the exception of Diggs getting angry every once in a while, but you're on the cusp of something great. These players in the league look at the Bills and they see what they're doing. Yes, I am willing to sign for X amount to have for 1 or 2 seasons, which Harris did, which the receivers did, to have the ability to play with Josh Allen so I can look like a superstar and go sign somewhere else next year.
I will say this, Diggs might have been a little bit upset, but he wasn't wrong. At all.
At all. All right.
See?
Off season for the Buffalo Bills.
Doesn't want to agree with me, but he's right.
No, you're not right.
No.